Break the lane, I'm trying to make a name, but my sick thoughts got me by my brain. I'm searching for my, how ironic how we hustle for the same, but get bracelets for trying to get a chain, and they want to take up.
So this video is about the 1619 story and the conversation I had with legendary Top Cats about those first Africans who came to America.
Ain't nothing African about Virginia. You talking about a European and an Aboriginal situation. You talking about Virginia.
So they didn't bring any Africans into Virginia?
Well, what Africans made a difference? You had those 19 that came in 1619, and if I was y'all, I'd be embarrassed to pull that because that wasn't even the situation of somebody being brought from West Africa in the slave situation. That was the situation that happened with. So that where did they get those people from?
So they came from Luanda, Angola. They was on the San Juan Batista.
Listen,
that
did
shit got
they steal that boat? How did they meet them people? They came from
they was going to Veracruz, Mexico. They was going to Veracruz, Mexico.
They jacked the boat and took them people. So let's not try to use this modern day everybody where they try to
No. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
That's what you're doing.
No, I'm not. So
what happened to those people though?
Hold on.
They freed them?
Hold on.
They got their freedom, and some of them became slave owners. So
yeah.
I'd be ashamed to even pull that shit.
Hold
you
on.
Want to make it especially if you got a slave narrative.
You don't want the whole story to come out. That's what it is. I'm just trying to ask you a question. Was it 3 ships or 2 ships involved in that encounter?
I can't remember right now.
It's 3.
They don't change
2 ships. No. It's always been 2 ships jumped on 1 ship in the Caribbean. But y'all fail to realize that 1 ship that they jumped was called the San Juan Batista. That ship is on record coming from Luanda, Angola, and it was destined to go to Veracruz, Mexico. Here we have the 1619 story in question. Now, in the conversation I had with Top Cats, I told him that they came from Luanda, Angola, and they was on a ship called the San Juan Batista. So let's read a little bit. The Africans who came to Virginia in 1619 had been taken from Angola and West Central Africa. They were captured in a series of wars that was part of a much broader Portuguese hostilities against the Congo and Ndogo kingdoms in other states. These captives were then forced to march 100 to 200 miles to the coast to the major slave trade port of Luanda. They were put on board the San Juan Batista, which carried 350 captives bound for Veracruz on the coast of Mexico in the summer of 1619. Nearing her destination, the slave ship was attacked by 2 English privateers, the White Lion and the Treasurer, in the Gulf of Mexico and robbed of 50 to 60 Africans. The 2 privateers then sailed to Virginia, where the White Lion arrived at Point Comfort, or present-day Hampton, Virginia, towards the end of August. Here we are on the Slave Voyages website, and they also mention the 1619 ship, the San Juan Batista, and the voyage ID number is 29251. If anybody wants to look it up. Right, and this is just the information they have on it. It was in Luanda, headed to Veracruz, year 1619. Captain's name, Miguel Pinto Moto. And here are the sources, and they mention the 1619 20-and-out Negroes. Y'all not telling the whole story. You didn't do nothing last time.
You're not telling the whole story by picking the pieces of the story that you want to tell.
Hold on, no. He just tried to tell a story of 1619 and don't know if it's 2 or 3 boats. Y'all not telling the same story. Y'all not telling the whole, because that 3rd boat came from Angola. That's why.
So why nobody know about that then? But
everybody knows about it.
Go get it then.
And there lies the problem within a lot of these conscious communities, specifically this one, and now the Aboriginal community. their so-called leaders, history, they tell half of the story from a biased point of view, as we've seen with Top Cats. So moral to this video, 1619, those Africans that was taken by the White Line and Treasurer was on a boat named the San Juan Batista that came from Luanda, Angola. That's just the facts. That's it. It's not a coincidence that the conscious community is not so conscious. There are people in this so-called conscious community who go around preaching that DNA is not real, DNA doesn't work, it's not an exact science, and it cannot help you with genealogy or finding your family, which is all 100% untrue. Well, let's listen to Chief Holiday and see what he says.
Can you and your cousin that you never met across the country spit in a tube and find out that y'all cousins, brother?
Yes.
That without you guys filling out paperwork, brother. How is it possible for them to match you and your cousin up that you never met by both of y'all spitting in the tube, brother? Explain it to the people. Go ahead, brother.
The same way adopted people take ancestry tests and find their family that when they never knew. You spit in the tube.
Okay, so I help people, adopted people find their genealogy, brother. I help people find their genealogy that's been adopted, brother.
If you want
but they're not finding it through spit, sir. Yes, they are. Sir, they're not finding they real family members through spit.
Cass and Julia connected over the fact that they were both adopted and raised by single mothers in the U.S.
My Facebook, I have timelines of us, and the captions are like, sisters or nah, like, what do y'all think? Or, 23andMe, we need DNA tests. Like, we have literally been joking around about this for 8 years.
Using a 23andMe DNA test, Cassandra started the search for her birth family 2 years ago, and says she was delighted to be welcomed into a large, loving family. Even though they went to different agencies and their adoption board couldn't be sisters, Cass still felt there was a possibility she was related to.
I hop in my car 2 days later and I drive up to Connecticut and I force her to do the DNA test.
It was a call in January 2021 when Julia got to relay the news.
I said, Cassie, I am in fact your biological sister. And it was one of those moments that you don't even know what to say.
I got you, brother. They're not finding their family member through spit. They find their family members through records. Like somebody said, okay, well, this is the real record of the birth of your birth mother, brother, or your birth father, brother.
Even though they went to different agencies and their adoption form said they couldn't be sisters.
I am, in fact, your biological sister.
They're not spitting in the tube, brother, because that means that's
not true, brother. That's not.
Bro, just explain to the people how two people could spit in the tube and find out their genealogy, bro. Go ahead.
They spit in the tube. They send their DNA in. What they do is they make sure it matches to a certain amount of markers. What they're going to tell you is you share this much DNA. It could be 8 centimoles.
No, hey, bro, you got to be a little bit more detailed. You got to be a little bit more detailed in the process of the spit, brother.
Listen, bro.
Okay, go.
So I think I know what the problem is. We have people in the conscious community, specifically the Aboriginal community, that are getting in front of hundreds and thousands of people at a time and talking about things that they know nothing about. One is DNA. This is a CM calculator. This is what I was trying to explain before I was cut off when I was talking to Chief Holiday. But this is what I'm talking about. So here it says self. So this is you. And when you take these DNA tests and you look at your cousin matches, they're going to tell you you have 94 centimoles related to this person, such and such with this person. And this determines how many centimoles, determines how close related you are. So when you do a paternity test and it tells you you are the father, it's because your centimoles was high enough to reach a centimole level where the only relationship it could be is a parent, because you share that much DNA. And only a parent can pass down that much DNA. So these ancestry tests and the paternity test use the same methodology of judging how you're related. So here we're going to go up to the calculator. I'm going to put in 94 centimorgans. So when I put in 94 centimorgans, it gives me options of how the relationship would be. At 94 centimorgans, it couldn't be a parent. It cannot be a grandparent, a sibling, a half-sibling, a first cousin. Because if it was that close of a relationship, there would be more DNA shared. So I put in 94 centimorgans because on my DNA test, I have who is my third cousin, which is 94 centimorgans, through our second great grandparent. I chose him because he doesn't have his real name there. So when you go back to the centimorgan chart and we look at 94 centimorgans, we see third cousin right here. That relationship came through a great great grandparent. As you can see up here. I don't need to know all that, bro. All I know is you are related by the strand of your centimoles, how long it is, the identical markers they find in it. And then they tell you. And they even have a list on the accuracy to how far back it goes and the accuracy within it.
Break the lane, I'm trying to make a name, but my sick thoughts got me by my brain. I'm searching for my, how ironic how we hustle for the same, but get bracelets for trying to get a chain, man, they wanna take up.
So our topic, like always, is battling pseudo information. Today we're going to talk about King Pseudo, Chief Holiday. Or Supreme Chief Holiday, as the Aboriginals like to call it. So the discussion we're having is a question I posed about an African statue that he uses in his trailer.
One thing about our community is that we don't identify as African, and we don't like identify as African American.
So he ignored the question for a while, but he finally comes to terms and addresses it, asking me what's wrong with it. Tell him it's in the museum. It says it's African. It's not who he's trying to say it is. Right? So let's just go down a little bit. Who does he say it is? He says, this is who I showed in the trailer. He's trying to say it's Chief Powhatan, Pocahontas' father. Right? So he sends a Pinterest article or a Pinterest photo, and it's not the same photo. So it's not the same photo. It's not the same image from his trailer. Right? He sends this one also. So this guy is just everywhere. But what we're going to do is we're going to go look at the museum. We're going to look at what we call the primary source. And this is at the Jubel Park Museum. Right, so let's scroll all the way down. We're going to find this statue. And then we're going to compare what he says is in his trailer to what is actually in the trailer. So here's the statue. Slave with African archer circa 18th century. That's the 1700s. Here's the exact photo right here that he used. Right? It's just different angles of the same statue. Right? Like I said, he showed a Pinterest. I'm giving you the primary source where the actual statue is. So the statue was made in the 1700s in the image of an African, not an Aboriginal American, not a black indigenous, native, none of that stuff, right? So he's still in denial. He's like, dude, you're funny. You can never catch me slipping. But I did catch you slipping. You're trying to say it's about Powhatan. Look, lying about Powhatan? No. The African statue. Stop playing. Right? He's talking about he's going to embarrass me, but you're the one that is the embarrassment. Right? You're sitting here trying to pass off these propaganda Aboriginal talking points and have no ground to stand on. Another misinformation tactic that he uses is he takes our elders from the past and makes them Aboriginals in the future. In his trailer, he uses the voice of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. And the whole concept is that they knew back then that we was Aboriginals, yada, yada, yada.
A Negro is still languished in the corners of American society, finds himself in exile in his own land.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. You never find a white Aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are Aborigines.
On March 17th, 1966, in a speech, Martin Luther King draws attention to the 1619 story and how the first Negroes landed on the shores of America from Africa. April 3rd, 1964, Malcolm X says that he's an African American, and there's 22 million of us African Americans. If this documentary is anything like this trailer, it's going to be highly historically inaccurate. Chief Holiday, you need to do better. But let's listen to Chief Holiday cry about me.
You, not a coincidence, you the fucking clown. I keep telling this dude that was Powhatan in the goddamn clip. He wants to make it a something else. He found a sled, bro. Can't make it up. We put a sled of an African in the motherfucking trailer, bro. You the weakest nigga ever. You niggas is weak as fuck. You niggas know y'all have ties to this land, but then you want to take a fucking DNA test, and then that tells you that you from Africa. And I explained to them last night, anything that comes from the out of Africa hypotheses, and they admitted that it's theoretical, it's theory, it's not a fact, right? Yeah, it means you're pseudo, and that means that out of Africa, the DNA is pseudo. Calling yourself African is
But it's
pseudo.
not.
Ask for one thing. I want to give you the first thing you asked for. If you look in the back chat, somebody can pull it up. It's where they talk about Africans coming in from the land of Angola. And this is in 1575.
And the land was called Angola in 1575?
Yep, they said the Terra Angola.
Okay.
They say the Terra Angola.
Okay.
So you can look at it a couple different ways. You can look at it through the translation or the transcript. But look, if you go down, we can look at that and they're right. And go down right there. Stop. Go to the first page, the bottom paragraph, and zoom in. And we're gonna see the Terra Angola. If you zoom in on the can you zoom in? So if you look at that second sentence, so it say dead Terra Angola. If you can see where it starts with the ANGOL, move your mouse up a little bit. Next line. No, to the left. No, you on that the second to last line. It's like the third word in. It says Angola, and before it says dead Terra. So if you stop right there. From the beginning of that second sentence, that's a DE, and then it's a TE. RARE. The second line. Yes, that's dead. And then you see where it gets darker, where the T is, Terra, TE, and then you'll see AN. Look over, go right there, ANGOLA. And if you look at the transcription, it's going to say dead Terra, land Angola. So now if you go to transcription, it's going to say the same thing I just said on that second to last line. And they say all through that Angola.
And how old is, what's that transcript? That's 1570 what?
75. The Terra Angola, as you see.
What that the Terra Angola marker? What that marker mean?
I don't know, but we can copy it and put it in Google Translate.
That's the marker. Okay, I rocks with that one. That is the first time I've actually seen the word where Angola is from a document. That's the first time for me seeing that. So, I rocks with that one.
I'm glad I can show you that, brother. I appreciate you. Yo, he's probably the only one to ever admit that I showed him something and it was new to him. Nah.
Nah, what's up?
Huh?
What's good with you?
Hey, shit, what's going on, bro?
I'm just cool.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Yeah, they was talking about something with some bones. He was wrong. Maybe you could fill me in because Chief was talking about it, but he don't know how to explain shit.
Yeah, they still mad at me from last year because I told them that the bones was pseudo, and I proved that with the so-called debate I had with AP. They wanted to use the bones, so I used the bones for them and showed
So
that
what was your standpoint on it? What was you saying about it?
that we don't need them. It's just pseudo racist science that you're dealing with. Because
Yeah, it is.
That's what it comes from. So, the fuck we need that for?
I
Outside
don't
of that,
think.
you just pushing the same shit.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, they do that a lot, and they don't even understand what they be looking at sometimes.
Yeah, that's why they big mad at Topcast right now.
Topcast pseudo is there, so though, but he likes to pick a fight. He got a good fight because they can both get each other on things that they got wrong. Because Topcast talking about that black European shit. He dead wrong on that shit.
Oh, what do you mean they're wrong on that?
As if there's black Aboriginal Europeans that came here in the 14, 15, 1600. Those black people came from Africa.
Oh, is you talking about the Moors and shit?
Yeah, he'll try to say those Irish that came over here, it was black. All the ones that came over here was like indentured or was
a lot of them too. They're part of that whole Moorish diaspora.
Yeah, they turn it all into black people. Like now, black people colonize America. I don't know. It's crazy.
He just gotta look at the whole totality of everything, and then you'll be able to see what he's talking about. You gotta see how they got chased around, where they went, where they disappeared to. Like you actually look up the what was it, Queen Elizabeth the First, 1596 little edict or whatever, right? She was talking about getting rid of the blackamoors and sending them home to Spain and Portugal. Home.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, it was black people over there, but I just think they try to take away the presence of the African descent. That's just.
I mean, how long does it take for people to become their own people, though? If you talking about,
Oh, see, now that's what I want to talk about because that's what I be saying. We are our own people, even though we descend from these people. We
all
created our
right,
own thing. So,
so that then the people that are in Spain and all that, the Moors that are there, they've been there for 800 years, 800 years or whatever. Are they not their own people?
yeah, they're their own people, but they're not aboriginal to Spain.
I don't think anybody called them Aboriginal in Spain. Just call them Black
No,
Europeans.
no, but that's what they're saying. So yeah, they could be Europeanized and be a black European, just like we're black Americans, we're Americanized. You know what I'm saying? So as far as somebody adapting the culture, I have no problem with that. But they try to add a genetic bloodline tied to that, which you know what I'm saying is wrong. Like we know that these they took these Africans and they Christianized and Europeanized them. Yeah, that's what they was calling the Ladinos. So that concept of you can call them those are black Europeans, but they descend from Africa. It's not there's no genetic tie to the place other than you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, but the Aboriginals they were said to be Negro-ish, supposedly. That's something I gotta look more into.
No,
But
I mean all everybody when we go back, everybody's gonna be black or dark or of color. Everybody until we get to a certain point in time. I'm just talking
so
about
then
this.
we're back to the Black Europeans then.
Yeah, but my point is by the time we get up to this colonization part, there is no black European. There is none. Those people are faded out of that and they've been faded out for thousands of years.
You say
Those people was
thousands.
yeah. Yeah, that white gene took over that area.
Oh, so you're saying that the Moors are all white?
No, but there's white Moors. But see, I think we're jumping
Yeah.
around too much. We're jump. I see. We're jump. So when I think of Aboriginal, I think of somebody who's been there for tens of thousands of years. I'm talking
All
about.
right.
The conversation is always about the colonization era.
Yeah, well, it was colonized before the colonization era.
Well, I'm talking about the colonization that brings America, United
Into
States.
the culture. Yeah.
So, like, yeah, people have been colonizing before that. Anytime people went somewhere that the original Europeans are colonizers because they wasn't in Europe. That gene was brought there from people that immigrated
And that's
there,
actually
and
just the history of the
that was
world.
8,000 years ago. So everywhere, so if you just out of Africa theory, everybody else is a colonizer that left Africa. So I don't think that's what the problem is.
Yeah, the out of Africa got to go too, though. Same with evolution.
It ain't gonna go nowhere. So you want to throw
That was got too
biology
much
out
money
too?
behind it.
You want to throw biology out too? You don't deal with biology because evolution is the foundation of biology.
No, it depends because they're just trying to find a way to prove what they want, and they use us as test subjects, and not us just as in black folk, but they use every goddamn body.
So what you think about this dude Charles Davis right here? He's 92. In 1975, he's 92. So what that put him at? 17. So he was born in what? 83? 1883? Something like that.
Yeah,
He's a Creek freedman. And you know how everybody says, yo, that Indian slavery was made up? Well, he's talking about this. Said Creek Indians brought their Negro slaves with them when they moved to Georgia and Alabama. So you think he's indoctrinated?
I don't know. Depends on what he went through. like depending on his story and like how well the story actually sounds like it's his story. There'll be some stories out there you can just tell that somebody gave him a script to read.
They gave him a script to read. Yeah, see.
No. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying I've read
No,
some
you
stories
saying some
you can
stories.
just
Yeah.
tell. Yeah, some stories you can just tell. Like, hold on, that's some bullshit. And a lot of that stuff, especially like with the newspapers and all that, I'm a little extra critical with it just because the publication that it's in. Remember, shit, all these books that you call outdated, they were the books that was basically the version of today's media.
Wait, say that again. My bad. Say the last part.
Those old books are like today's like Facebook and TV and shit.
Yeah.
So even back then with those books, those writers be embellishing shit and making other shit sound like hell.
Yeah, but that's another thing. That's why we have to be critical and understand what we're reading. What we're reading. There's a difference when somebody's talking from a
Mm-hmm.
first-hand account, and then somebody's talking about something that was told to them, and we can see it when they talk about it. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to read what he's saying.
Yeah. Now does he speak about his genealogy?
Uh, so he goes. He goes. I was a teenager at the time. I can remember when the Indian chiefs commenced to allot the Creek land. The question came up what to do about the Negro. There was no hesitation argument. The chiefs meeting in the old council house counted all of us as Creek Indians. To this day, my families on the Creek tribal rolls are blacks with no Indian blood or black Indians.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. Even back then, they showed a distinction. There's Negroes and then there's Indians. And now it's just, mm, I think that people, the Aboriginals are ignoring those distinctions that's clearly made in all the writings. So,
Yeah, that one was showing basically black slaves at that point.
say what?
One where it says Negro slaves, that's basically saying black slaves.
Yeah, Negro, black is synonymous. Yeah.
And something you gotta be careful with that word Negro though.
Here we go. I'm not doing this with you today. Negro means of African descent. I'm not doing this today.
Hold on, I got something for you.
I'm not doing this with
You know what else is synonymous with Negro?
you. What?
Blackamoor.
That's fine.
And you know what
I just told you them blackamoors come from Africa, man.
You know what Blackamoor means?
What?
North African. You know, like Berbers.
Not like see here you go like Berbers. No. See you're falling now you're falling into that Hamitic hypotheses, man. Where
Oh, yo, regardless if it's a hypothesis, if that shit's true or not, that's what they really used against us.
no, they just didn't want to give anybody with dark skin any credit for anything.
Yeah, that's what they're still using that. That's where this race science comes from.
Yeah, it starts with that dumb shit.
Yeah, so I mean, like it's a theory, it's a bullshit, but they're really using it against us.
But yeah, you like that Berber. That's crazy.
There's another connection right there.
GTA is a different game than Call of Duty.
So what about this guy? This I remember I was like, where are these albums that say nothing to do with Africa? Because when we look at the history, like William Dub Warrior, right? What does he say?
What's his name? Dub.
Yeah, that's his William Dub warrior.
Hmm.
And then there's another lady in this article, not lady,
I was Irish.
and Charles, wait, Emily, and there's two parts of this article anyway. But he says warrior, which is him, this guy, and Wilson are the keepers of an extraordinary history, once nearly lost to the ravages of time. They are African Seminole, Black Indians. I don't like that. So where are the black? Where are the people that look like him that are these Indian nations that don't have any African ancestry in history? That's really my question. I want to know where they at. Cause I want to read what they were saying. Cause he's saying, he's Indian and Native. I mean, Indian and African.
Those those ones that you're looking for, their books are very hard and few to find. But then it won't be that hard. People just don't look for them. And Carolinian blacks in the 17th and 18th century. There's a lot of Indian movement going on right there, right around certain Indian wars too.
My bad, bro. I'm back. I had to walk away.
You good? Yeah, it's funny. Look, really bad.
But indoctrination is crazy though. I don't see
Yeah.
the problem. I don't see what's wrong with Africa though. I
You
really
love
don't.
yeah.
I don't want to go to Africa. I don't want to live there. I'm American. I'm gonna show you what Thomas Jennings said about this whole thing.
Love the newspapers, huh?
What you said?
You love these newspapers, huh?
You was breaking up. I couldn't hear you. You know who Thomas Jennings is, right?
The name is too familiar.
Huh?
I heard his name, but I'm not too familiar with him.
Let's get some background on him real quick.
He's a society boy. I don't know if you're talking or not, but if you are, you're on mute.
No, I was saying, can you read it? Can you see it? I always forget how to fucking zoom in on this shit. Man. Yeah. Well, anyway, Thomas Jennings he had the patent for he developed the method for dry cleaning, right? So he was an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? He did some civil rights work. It was at the first annual color conventions, and I'm gonna show you what he was saying there when they was talking about should we go or should we go to Africa or not?
Yeah.
And this is how I feel. Uh, so this is him. He says, our claim on America. Our claims on America is to the land that gave us birth. It is the land of our nativity. We know no other country. It is a land in which our fathers have suffered and toiled. They have watered it with their tears and fanned it with sighs. Our relation with Africa is the same as the white man's is with Europe, only with this difference: the one immigrated voluntarily, the other was forced from home and all its pleasures. We have passed through several generations in this country, and consequently, we have become naturalized. Our habits, our manners, our passions, our dispositions have become the same. I might as well tell a white man about England, France, or Spain. The country, the country from whence his forefathers immigrated, and call him a European, as for him to call us Africans. The argument will hold as good in the one case as the other. Africa is as foreign to us as yours to them. So, what you get out of that?
Well, as far as he knows, that there's the same as Europeans that he believes he came from Africa.
Say that again.
He believes he came from Africa.
Yeah, but how does he feel about America though?
His mama.
Huh?
This bitch is his mama.
So it doesn't matter.
No, this bitch is his mama.
Oh, it's his mama. Yeah, he's saying we've been here so long. Ain't no like why we leaving? We don't know. We've been here the same amount of time as this white man. We don't know nothing about Africa, just like he don't know nothing about England or living in Europe. This is where we've been at. You know what I'm saying? We fought and all that. So it's not that people, because you think you're African American or you're Pan African, that doesn't mean go back to Africa. That doesn't mean you even want to go there. You just know who your ancestry is, and you unite under that ancestry and history.
And that's what Pan Africanism is, isn't it? You're not under the belief of the common ancestry,
Yeah. So
common future.
so why do everybody be like always saying that? Well, not I shouldn't even ask you that, but they always saying, "Oh, I'll go back to Africa." Why you not in Africa?
Because a lot of Pan Africans, they so uber African, and that there's also retaliation to Pan Africans trying to make everybody African. So it's like,
I mean, make everybody. I mean, it sucks, but y'all are African, bro. I'm sorry to tell you. Well, you should get a DNA test, man. You still there? I don't know what happened. I just left away from the computer. Come on.
You see, when I type Mia, this is the
I think he's still there. Yeah, I'm gonna video real quick. Let's see.
How ironic how we hustle for the same, but get bracelets for trying to get a chain and they want to take up.
So there's a saying that there's no such thing as a dumb question. But when we're dealing with adults who claim to know history, then there is. There absolutely is a dumb question. The dumb question I'm talking about is the question of where is the African ancestor that came off the slave ship? This seems to be a persistent question amongst the Aboriginal community. Now, I say it's dumb because they don't know anything about history if they're going to ask that question. They would know that these people that were enslaved coming from Africa was not treated in the most humane way. They would know that when they came here, they didn't care what their name was. I'm talking about the people that was purchasing. They didn't care. So what do we have here? We have a page from an account book from a man named Henry Lawrence. He was a big slaver in the South. So he took great records. And this is a record of a ship coming with 327 new Negro slaves imported off the ship Imperial. Charles Wynn was the commander. They came from Angola. So now we can see who bought them. I think we got a man named Nyla Sampson. He bought one girl. He plans to pay in January. Right? And we can go on and on and on. So as we look at this, like we can see John Scott down here, he bought two men. We don't know who those men's name are. Right? We don't know. But we know these are people that was enslaved and brought to the Americas. And on this page it says they came from Angola. Right? You see the different prices they paid for them, etc., etc. So these people who claim to know a little bit of history would know this. Right? So this is a primary source that took place at the time it was happening. Oh, I know. I got something I want to show you. You back?
Yeah.
Let me show you.
Yeah.
Let me go get that. Oh shit, come.
Let me see.
Here.
You might want to do
The rest of the bags in our trunk.
There we go. I got it.
In the process of the spit, brother. Okay.
This is Centermore. Just watch this real quick.
Right.
What the problem is? We have people in the conscious community, specifically the Aboriginal community, that are getting in front of hundreds and thousands of people at a time and talking about things that they know nothing about. One is DNA. This is a CM calculator. This is what I was trying to explain before I was cut off when I was talking to Chief Holiday. But this is what I'm talking about. So here it says self. So this is you. And when you take these DNA tests and you look at your cousin matches, they're going to tell you you have 94 centimoles related to this person, such and such with this person. And this determines how many centimoles determines how close related you are. So when you do a paternity test and it tells you you are the father, it's because your centimoles was high enough to reach a centimole level where the only relationship it could be is a parent, because you share that much DNA. And only a parent can pass down that much DNA. So these ancestry tests and the paternity test use the same methodology of judging how you're related. So here we're going to go up to the calculator. I'm gonna put in 94 centimorgans. So when I put in 94 centimorgans, it gives options of how the relationship would be. At 94 centimorgans, it couldn't be a parent. It cannot be a grandparent, a sibling, a half sibling, a first cousin, because if it was that close of a relationship, there would be more DNA shared. So I put in 94 centimorgans because on my DNA test, I have a cousin who is my third cousin, which is 94 centimorgans, through our second great grandparent. I chose him because he doesn't have his real name there. So when we go back to the centimorgan chart and we look at 94 centimorgans, we see third cousin right here. That relationship came through a great great grandparent, as you can see up here.
I don't need to know all that, bro. All I know is you are related by the strand of your centimorgans, how long it is, the identical markers they find in it, and then they tell you.
So I know you don't like centimorgans. So what you got to say about centimorgans?
Right now,
did I explain that correctly or not?
Yeah, pretty simple. But for me, for right now, I accept it as it is. With on reserve though.
You what?
I accept it as it is on reserve though.
You say keep it on reserve?
Yeah. As far as that goes, it's showing you your relations. It's going back to 5 generations, basically 5 generations. Where are you people at? At what point are you able to actually find that connection where they take you back to Africa?
Oh, you kind of muffled. Say that again.
Hold on. Nah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going back 5 generations. So at that point, can you find where that connection is to Africa? That trail, who it is.
Well, you're gonna have to fill in the gaps and find the people that connect y'all. You know you're connected. You just gotta find the people. That's the thing. Like,
I mean, that's what 32 great grandparents at that point. Right,
when you get
something like
to if you get to what's that 32 and 16, that's third grade. That's your third grade. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for most of us, that connection is gonna go past that. It might be a 6, because it was so long ago.
Yeah. It depends when they was having the babies and how often.
Whoa.
My one great grandfather, he had 22 kids.
Yeah, my dad's grandmother, she had like 24. Yeah, my dad's grandmother had like 24 kids. Whoa. She had like 3, 4 sets of twins.
Wow.
Whoa. That ass. That ass. Shit real.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But like, hold on, so I'm gonna show you my I gotta go on Ancestry to show you something. So like I say, DNA is a tool, man. You gotta use these tools, man. So can you see this? See John Bunn at the top?
That's Shinnecock.
Yeah, then Jacob Bunn, Hallett Bunn, right? So these are people that took DNA tests and also did their trees, right? And now we see how it related to DNA and the paper trail. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just follow the line.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? She took one. Her grandmother took one. You feel what I'm?
Yeah.
Like that's why I don't know why y'all be running from this shit. Like this shit is dope to me,
Because
man.
we did that same thing with without the paperwork, though. I mean, without the spit.
You can't listen. This is confirmation. Look at these people. I'm related. I share 43 centimorgan, 127, 37, 60. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. 117, right? Hey, come on, then you can add them to your tree. You know what I'm saying? I could just go right to my tree, and here she go right here, right? Word. That's her grandmother. She down here. Word.
All right.
That shit is, I don't know why y'all don't fuck with this shit, man.
I mean, me personally, I've done all the same thing that y'all doing with the DNA with paperwork.
Yeah, but why only use one tool? That's the part I don't get. You got mad tools available to you.
The right tool's a good tool, so why change it? Well, I need another tool for.
But that's what I'm saying. These people, I would have never found her if it wasn't for DNA. I couldn't find her in no paperwork. Why? Because she's alive today. So there's privacy laws and shit like that.
Yeah.
But you take a DNA test, I'm linking with people that, you know what I'm saying? I would never know.
Yeah.
Uh,
I chose other avenues like
like,
going through social media and stuff like that
you
to
see
find other
this?
ones
It's
too.
14,687 matches, bro.
Word.
You can't do that with paper trail, my dude.
And I got
It's not.
shit. I just seen somebody got 74,000 in their tree. I got over 3,000
74.
mine.
Yo, people die. All right, I'm not even gonna continue this, but you know what I'm gonna say. People just
More.
be adding people to their tree. That's it. You know
Sometimes
that.
you do, yeah. But no, this was
You
just
know
on some
that.
random shit. Surprised the hell out of me.
Yeah, niggas just be
I forget
adding
who I was looking
anybody.
at.
They just be adding anybody. What they talking about? Word.
Some of the white people, they be doing they shit for real, for real.
Like, look, it's my cousin right here, Nigeria, 99%. So they say, oh, you can't find no African cousins.
How many centimorgans did you share with him?
9.
9.
9 centimorgans, yeah.
And that put you at the 5th grade grandparent?
Uh, well, there's a bunch of, it could be a 4th cousin. These are the percentages of 21% of the time, people with 9%, when you share 9 centimorgans with that person, they fall into this category. 19% this category. You have to just distinguish the relationship. Shit gonna be hard, but
And that's
it's
where the
part of the
paper
work.
trail comes in. Oh, not so much paper trail, but we're checking in all that shit too.
But this what I'm saying. Paper trail is only gonna go get you so far, man. I don't know why you would not use all the tools. That's what I'm saying. Why not use all the tools that's available to you?
Yeah, I ain't using something that I don't trust people with.
You don't trust people with what? Your DNA?
Yeah, no, I know the
They
whole
got your
argument.
DNA. They got
Yeah,
your DNA,
the
fam.
government does, not private corporations.
What can they do with your spit? What can they do?
Lord only knows. You see what they doing with this little jibby jab thing, recoding people and all that. I don't know.
They not recoding anybody.
That's what they saying. I don't know.
Who said? Who said? Who got recoded?
That little Jewish looking dude with the big nose and he
But
was telling us
recoded how?
everything we can do. He begins with an F. I don't want to get you checked out for saying his name.
Oh no, yeah. I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah, but that dude, that guy, he's the one who said it was a recombination of the RNA or something like that they did some spike protein crap.
That's what I'm saying. So that doesn't even make sense. So RNA, it can't recombinate. RNA takes its instructions from the DNA and it does what the DNA tells it to. That's why they use mRNA vaccines because it gives it directions. So he's saying it's recombinating. That's nah,
Or
that
something
doesn't
like
even make
that.
sense.
They're just doing something to manipulate it. That's all I can say. Best way to put it.
I don't
You
know.
know, and given the history of these people, no, I'm good. I mean, the government got it. That's one thing. I don't like that as it is, but these private corporations are more powerful than the government, and they be on some other ish. So the less they have, the better I feel. I mean, it's bad enough they already get to watch our every move, where we go, just by these phones that we have and everything that we do online. Like they know our
Yeah,
every move as it is.
yeah. That's what I be saying. Like, so people be talking all this like they already got everything they got on you anyway. Like I don't understand what the hesitation is. But each his own. It's just
Yeah,
weird
why give it
for
more?
people to downplay something that they don't really even know about or indulge in or anything like that.
Yeah, for all I know, they could be on some issue where they gonna start making codified medicine or something like that. And they can shut your whole shit down in just a blink of an eye or just with a frequency.
I mean,
So,
people do think that shit like that is possible with the
you see,
whole GMO thing.
yeah, they're already doing that.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I mean, science is science. You got people
You know,
who
you know how
take
many
shit too
kangaroos we
far.
ate?
I hope not. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not killing yourself, you don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, from that to
Word.
fried kitty cat.
All types of
I
shit.
do. Yeah, so I mean, but when you look at it though, food manipulation is something that man's been doing since probably the beginning of time. To be honest,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, is it really that much of a bad thing, or is it we just don't like it because it scares the hell out of us because we see these big corporations and the government linking up together to mess with it, and it's changing, it's going completely against our usual norm.
Well, that's because when early people was doing it, they wasn't doing it for a profit. They was doing it to make it better or to
There
try
it
to
is.
make it better. Now it's not to make anything better. It's just to make more of
Yeah,
a profit.
there you
And with
go.
that, cutting corners and shit like that comes with that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the problem.
Yep.
Word.
That right there, and that's another reason why I'm not giving them up, spitting in anything for them. I'll be all right.
Nah, you should do it though, man. They not doing nothing with that
I'll go to a family reunion first.
shit.
Meet mad cousins that way. Hell, one of my family reunions, I ain't been there in a while, but the last one I went to there was over 5,000 of us.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Hell yeah, that's just one piece, one branch. Yeah, you talk about how your grandmother's popped out 24. Shit.
Yeah, my father's grandmother. Word. But I do my genealogy. I see that shit a lot. 24 is around one of the highest, but you see them in the teens all the time. 12,
Yeah.
13. Like 12 seem like the regular damn near. Like this shit
Yup.
rare. Like well, like 8 to 12, it's like what the you see that a lot. Like they was having kids for real back then.
Yeah, sure. You need the kids to work that field.
That's another thing. You need a hands on deck. That's a fact.
And plus, there wasn't much to do when the fields wasn't growing.
That's
Grandpa needed to plow something. Yeah, baby, come here and let me plow your field. Okay.
That's a fact. Yeah, times change, man. But yo, I'm
Yeah.
still looking for the Abos, the Black Indians, the indigenous. like in the 17, 18, 1900s, who was saying that they're black or they look, what black Americans look like. They come in many different shades, sizes, and colors, but who say they are not of African descent. I still haven't found those people in history.
Was
I
somebody
found them in like the
distinctly saying that?
2000s. Like what y'all saying in the 2000s, like we not of African descent. Like
That.
like what y'all are saying.
I don't know if I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I haven't found it until I see otherwise. But yeah.
See, you haven't found it. But at the same time, you discredit everything that be coming with like the slave trade.
Just be questioning parts of it, certain things, because like one thing I notice a lot of Pan Africans do, as soon as they see this word, one trigger words I call it, like the word Negro or black or slave, they automatically go back into it's automatically African.
Yeah, but what
But
does the
in
history
reality,
tell us though?
but in reality, what you have is a lot of other nations fell under those same titles. Especially here in America, they fell under those same titles of Negro, black, and slave.
Yeah, but when we look in like the writings, they make distinctions though.
Yeah,
So yeah,
they'll call my auntie.
they might have. No, I'm saying like boom. What I mean like this, like they might say Negro, Indian, and all other free white people, but they make distinctions where they let you know it's different types of people. Even though the Indian and the Negro might have at that point in time been going through the same thing,
But
they say Indian,
not
Negro.
just
They
the
don't.
same thing, but the Indian was only an Indian if he was in amity with the government. If he wasn't, then he was considered a Negro.
In some cases, yeah, but so well, we gotta look at that more at the time period because it's so we could
Exactly my
actually
point.
so we could understand what they was doing. So when that was happening, you're dealing with more of a indentured society. There is really not too much slavery going on. Everybody's getting a time frame. When
Oh,
it
what
comes to
time
full
frame?
blown out, everybody's getting a time frame. It could be anywhere from 70 to 30 years. You do your service, you get out. You know what I'm saying? But then when we get to that, there is no indentured. You were a slave from the time you born to the time you die. That focused on mostly the Negro, and those Negroes was coming from Africa. They could have been mixed up with Indians. It don't matter. The stock
No,
was
'cause
coming. The stock
that
was
still
coming from
happened.
Africa.
Well, that's same thing still applied to Indians too.
Yeah, but I'm
Was that
talking
an
about
Indian
now.
who was
Mind you,
like
I'm trying to say we got to go in this time period. So I'm saying once we get into like in the 1700s, let's say around 1730, 1740, there is no. If you were a slave, you was a Negro. If you was a Negro, you descend from African. Now you might have had a great grandmother who was an Indian
during
or a
that
great
time frame they were still shipping out Indians
where
from the Carolinas and all that shit
nah
stuff.
in
Yeah, they was.
1740.
Yeah.
Where see you're gonna see what you're gonna say is that you'll see the Negroes leaving, and because you don't think Negroes need African, that's what
No,
you're gonna say.
they was shipping them out to Barbados and all that, and Bermuda and everything.
That's in the so who was because you see that in
The
the
colonists.
1600s.
No,
No, but
all the way up until like
what
1750, they were
flag?
shipping out more Indians.
What
They were
flag?
importing
You talk,
English,
where we
English
talking
American.
about? You got a source? I'll pull it up.
Shit, hold on.
In English, they were shipping them out for slavery,
Actually, yeah,
or
Almond
just
Wheeler
moving them,
Lobber.
or was they just moving them?
No, they were shipping them out.
No, but for slavery.
Yeah.
What'd you say it was?
Look up Almond Wheeler Lobber.
How and what are we saying these numbers are and all that? Almond. You said almond.
Yeah, ALMON Wheeler Lauber. LAUBER.
Let's see, I found something.
You can probably actually just search them on archives.
Yeah, I just found something. Oh, see, but this. All right, hold on. Indians. I'm starting the second. Indian slavery and colonial times.
Yeah, that's
Enslaved or brutally dishonest prisoner held by his captor as an inferior, forced to labor for him, or sold into servitude. Like 10 minutes. Uh, Indians. Spain found both nations attempt to educate. Spain in 1543. This don't got a time frame other than that. That's like the hold on.
yeah. Go to archive.org and just type in actually that book title.
Mommy. Let me take you to the front.
Almond Wheeler.
Yeah.
Lauder.
Yeah.
They all the same.
There you go. Shit, pick whichever one. Forget which page it is though.
Always me.
What'd you say?
I forget which page it is though. I think it's like I want to say page like 13 or some shit. It's kind of early on in the book.
Children in time of famine. Y'all don't talk about that.
Oh, what's that?
It says Indians, was it that? Indians sold children in the
Mm-hmm.
time of famine. So y'all
Yeah.
don't talk about that.
Shit, the Africans did too. It's everywhere they fucking went, yo.
Nah.
Yeah, they did.
Nah, no, they don't.
Oh, yes, they did.
I don't know. Nah, I'm fucking with you. I done read shit where I didn't. You got to look at how the story is being told to you. So I done read stories with these Europeans, Satan, talking about how they made their little raids or whatever, and say like people left their children. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
Yeah. Shit, this word search South Carolina. It should pop up with one of them. Actually, try export.
Export. I'll wait for this shit to go. You said try export?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm not 1740 number.
No, so you already talked about
1523. Yeah, what am I looking for again? Oh, Indians being shipped out.
Yeah.
Yes, will change.
No, that ain't it. Scroll.
Oh, I got something for you. But this is something that we noticed already. 1715. However, the law was changed so as to read that all Indian enemies captured could be handed over to the public receiver for the use of public. The receiver to sell such as slaves to those who would pay the highest price and would promise to export them from the colony within the period of 2 months after the sale.
And that was pretty much their method, because if not, these niggas gonna run back to run back to their
Yeah, but
people and say some shit again.
they was doing that because these people
They
wasn't
knew the
helping
land.
the land. It was fighting to keep their land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should say something along the lines of for a period of like up to like 1750 or something like that. They was exporting more Indian slaves than bringing in Negro slaves than importing.
But this what I'm saying. It's at what point? I'm saying it ended early
Mhm.
on. Mm.
Was it such was a legal argument used by England in justification of enslaving the African Negroes? See, a specific kind of African, specific kind of Negro.
Should I bring it in there? Let me bring it in there.
They're not calling Indians Negro in this book, bro. It's
Oh, they
not.
do.
No, they
They do.
not. No, it doesn't.
They do.
No, it doesn't. Come on, man. No, it doesn't.
He actually says that to the point that they were, you can't really count how many Indians were enslaved because of how often they were referred to as Negro or black.
And they was probably mixing. That's why. So we're calling
Nah, that was kind of
Yeah,
the.
I bet you it says that. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. This is what I be talking about. I get all that. I get all that. But when we look at the history, man, when we look at the people who was living there, they tell us a certain. I gotta get up out of here though. What's this at?
It should be on 11
You know over, right? Huh? You heard of Buck Cole?
yeah.
So he says, I was the seventh of 10 children born to David and Millie Franklin. Dad was born in Tennessee, not far from Goshen, and mother was born in Mississippi, not far from Biloxi. I was Christian Buck in honor of my grandfather who died long before I was born. As a slave, he was the full property of a full-blood Chickasaw Indian family. Go down to the second paragraph. My mother was one-fourth Choctaw Indian blood, the other three-quarters being Negro. You see the distinction. He knew there was a difference. You feel me?
He knew that Negro meant
And
black and black meant slave.
he lived at the time. He knew there was a difference. There's a distinction. But yo, they about to have this
Nah,
birthday party for this kids at my crib. I'm in the living room. I'm fucking it up.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna holler at you though, bro. You gotta get in contact with me, man.
You stay blessed, bro.
You too, bro. Be easy.
Break that lane, I'm trying to make a name, but my sick thoughts got me by my brain. I'm searching for my. How ironic how we hustle for the same, but get bracelets for trying to get a chain, man, they wanna take up.